Good morning, amigos, amigas. Welcome to this special edition from home dedicated to the breaking news of Peru. Thanks a lot for coming and thanks a lot for your interest in Peruvian history, Peruvian culture, and in this occasion, your interest in the Peruvian situation, the situation of a nation that is one of the oldest that exists actually in the world. If you take in consideration the first society that we know existed in Peru, Caral, that dates back to nearly 5,000 years ago, and is a nation that has suffered actually a lot, especially the last years of our Republican history. We are used to passing through literally earthquakes, actually like physical, the ones that destroy cities, and also earthquakes that are the ones emotional. And those have been very, very constant in the recent years. Today's event is in a way an intention from me as a person from Lima, the capital of Peru, to explain what is happening in this part of the world, which is a way also in a way a consequence of I would say several different situations happening in Latin America and in the world. I am a tour guide, by the way. I am not specialized in politics. I am not specialized, let's say, in even the media. As a tour guide, my work has been connecting with people from all over the world, people that have the intentions of visiting my beautiful country. And therefore, I know that to talk about this theme is important, to be able to confront the situation is important, and as well to explain you all what is the feeling of Limenians, because I cannot talk about all Peruvians. I am from Lima, and if you come from the tour of my friend Elizabeth in Arequipa, well, the event she hosted from home early, you're going to see that there is definitely a perspective according to where we are in the country. So today I will talk as a citizen of Lima, and I will explain you in my understanding of how the situation uh, basically happen. So before I begin, I will say hi. I would love to say hi to the people that are joining, especially to Elizabeth that I just saw her coming. Hola, Eli. Preciosa, thanks for coming. Hola, amigos. Hello, Adam. Hola, Adam. Thanks for coming. Martin, hola, Emmy, Mary Lou, thanks a lot for coming, and thanks a lot for being today here. Thanks to my friends that are connecting also. MB, hola, Robin, Diane, hola, amiga. Thanks for coming. Thank you, Douglas, Liz, Mary Lou, hola, Terry. Thanks for coming, Terry. Muchas gracias. Larry, Corinne, Jorge, hola, Jorge, ¿cómo estás? Christy, Marilyn, Lynn, Linda, and Nicholas, and also more people that are joining. So as a Limenia, as I said before, I am a person who actually understands the city in a more holistic way. And before I show you the slideshow that I have prepared for you, I have some videos also that I will be playing. I want to tell you that many people say that the event of yesterday and the day before, the 18th and 19th in particular, yesterday, the marches are called the taking of Lima, La Toma de Lima. Okay, so that is the name of the event. Well, let me tell you something. Lima has been taken by people from the province since the 1940s. Lima is not a city of white people. Lima is not a city of Limenians, descendants of the conquistadors. Lima is a city of people from the province. Most of the people of Lima, and let me tell you something that is very important for you to remember, 95% of the people of Lima have grandparents from the provinces of Peru. So only 5% of the people of Lima can say they are Limanians, like all Limanians, and we are all of us connected with the traditions of the provinces. So Lima is a city of province people, and that started in the 1940s. It was not before. No? So my traditions here in my house are mainly from the province. And you know why my parents and grandparents came to Lima? They came looking for opportunities. So I understand the feeling that people have in the provinces of certain level of hatred towards Lima, but Lima is built by people from the province who ran away from the Andes areas or the jungle on the north coast, the south coast, from poverty, looking for opportunities. Lima has been built in capitalism and has built by people who came most of the times with not one single penny or soul in their pockets. They were here looking for the opportunities that they were not able to get in their homes. But they didn't came here to protest or to destroy or to be, doing vandalism. They came here to sometimes even bleed, and not be able to eat, to give their grandchildren, because they knew even their children will not be able to make it in the way they want it. Even the grandchildren, probably they will be able to achieve a little bit. They were here with that dream. And I remember that from my grandmother. She used to tell me a lot that, well, I was born here because they wanted me to have the opportunities that they were not able to have in firsthand. So when Limanians are raised in this city, we understand the responsibility that we have in our hands, right? And we know we are not just from Lima. We know we are children of people from the provinces. So it is very important to begin with this, because when we start with the name of the protest, the take of Lima, Lima has been taken by people from the provinces since long time ago. Another reason why people hate Lima is because they say Lima is like a parasite that lives from other regions. So, of course, I am not left or right hand. Tour guides, we try to be in the middle. But when we were discussing with Elizabeth about how we're going to be presenting this event, that I hope you've been able to see the one of Elizabeth earlier, was brilliant. We wanted to put in the table the positions of the majority. And in Lima, to be honest, the majority of people are against the protests, because you can see that Lima has 1/3 of the population of the entire country. If at least 50% of Limanians agreed with the protests, they will go out and they will definitely take down anyone in power. We have 1/3 of the population of Peru, plus the people that are coming, which are not really huge numbers. They are big numbers, but not huge numbers. This city will not be working at all. But that's not the case, because we definitely see that there is not support by the majority of people of Lima. Okay, but we're going to go by parts. Okay, so we're going now to the slideshow that I have prepared for you. And thanks for coming. And I hope that you keep open-minded because remember, I know the situation of other parts. My family is not from Lima. So I want to give you a little bit more open window to the situation. So let me turn the camera. And we're going now to begin. Oh, sorry, as a typo, the for instead of off. Well, we were actually beginning with this series with the state of emergency and the social unrest that has taken place in Peru and the protests also this January. So we're going to actually give you a little larger image of what's happening in Peru. We have a president which was not elected, of course, by vote, by popular vote, but she was vice president of the elected president. So there is really nothing unconstitutional in a vice president being president when the president is taken off. In this case, in the case of the president that was taken off, and I will show you also the image is the man that is next to Dina Boluarte, Pedro Castillo. Pedro Castillo was voted constitutionally, but last year on December, he had an attempt of self-coup. So that immediately was, of course, unconstitutional, and he was removed from his position, being the vice president that actually she was part of the team since the beginning of Pedro Castillo. So immediately the government the position was passed to her. So there is nothing about the constitution that is not okay with her. But what's the problem? What started the situations? And also, Mary Lou, you are doing a very good point here. The situation with her is that she swore publicly that she will go if the president was removed from his position. Something that, of course, she could do if she wished. But it's not unconstitutional that she is in the position she is. The problem is that she promised something, later she didn't do. Okay? So Mary Lou is commenting something really interesting. Like, look the number of presidents we had in Peru since 2016 until the president. 6 presidents. So in about 6 years, we got 6 presidents, almost one per year. So what happened here? Well, some of them were there for way less than a year, or way less even than a month, like Merino. So the situation is this. Peru has been struggling with corruption, as many countries in the region, like historically. And also Dina Boluarte is the first female president of our history. If Dina Boluarte resigns, Lynn, the president of the Congress will take place. And actually the left, the extreme left, doesn't want that, because that person is a former military man who is definitely not left. Actually, he's known as a Peruvian hero of the fight against terrorism in Peru. Because yes, we had a time of terrorism in Peru, which was terrible, and we don't want to go back to that. Many people who live in Peru, in Lima, pardon me, they came to Lima escaping from terrorism. But I will tell you now, and we are going also to talk about the position of most Limanians, not all Limanians, of course. I am not the speaker of the Limanians in general, but I've been able to talk to many people, and I've heard a lot about the comments that people do in terms of, the position of Lima in front of this. So, well, you can see also that's something very interesting. The many presidents, and Peru is one of the most economically stable countries in the region. Our currency has not plumbed down as most of the currencies in the region, in Argentina, in Uruguay, not in Uruguay, in Brazil, in Chile, in Bolivia. Peru's economy is the most stable. So many people say, and this is more like a joke, that probably that's the reason why we don't allow them to be too long to steal more. Because if they were able to finish probably their term, until the term, well, we will be completely destroyed. So, well, that's a sad joke, but is what people believes. So the taking of Lima, La Toma de Lima, is the name given to the protests that are happening in this moment in the city. As I said before, Lima has been taken by people of the province since long time ago. And I say it, of course, with all the right, because I am the grandchild and child of migrants from the provinces. It is true that people come to Lima, as my friend Elizabeth also was quoting, it is completely true, because here we have the health, we have the education, we have the opportunities that in other parts of the country are neglected to many people. And the central model Lima has is not something Republican, my friends. It was not created with the first presidents of Peru in the 19th century. It was a model that was created back in the time of the coming of the conquistadors. The Spanish conquistadors made or created this system in which Lima will be fundamental as the capital of the Viceroyalty of Peru, a viceroyalty that was not ruled in its center, in the center of the territory. It was ruled from one side, from the coast. Okay, so Lima is a central location since that time. How long might each term last if they weren't each? Oh, Mary Lou, thanks for the question. 5 years. That's constitutionally is the term of the presidents. But since long, we haven't seen a president finishing the 5 years term. Also, many of our former presidents are in prison. Most of them have ended up in prison, to be honest, which is sad. But it's one of the few countries in the world where we see incarcerated presidents for corruption. In many countries, that never happens. So the hate for Lima, is it justified? Well, let me tell you something. If I try to be, the attorney of the devil, right? And try to also see both positions, or even try to explain this detail to you all, we have to really talk about money, right? Because money is the beginning of the problem. Many people from the provinces say that Lima, which is really the topic of my event today, to be honest, I am not really talking in general, because today, for example, Elizabeth talked about the South, it's in particular Arequipa, the feeling of the South of Peru. And it feels like a civil war, I know. And we don't want that to become, we don't want a country divided like this. But there is hate for Lima. And this is all related with money. What happens in most of the cases is that people believe in many parts of the country out of Lima that Lima is a parasite that lives from other regions of Peru. So we have to go to, let's say, the source, right? There are some videos that if you want later I can pass you. They are in Spanish. They are most of them TikToks because they are very, very reduced, let's say, videos that are very interesting. But I've made a cut on this TikTok for you all that is the most important. Lima gets more money in taxes than any other region in Peru. And I know this is going to be something people will not like to see or hear, because this is really the biggest part of the speech that people that are protesting use. They say that we live from the recollection of taxes from the mining and from the agriculture in other parts of the country. Well, actually, we get more than a half of the total income Lima in taxes. Why? Number one, we have 1/3 of the population of Peru in Lima. We're talking about nearly 12 million inhabitants in this moment in Lima versus the 32 million people in the country. Okay? And that means that Lima, which has a big concentration of people, also has a bigger concentration of people that pay taxes. Many people in the provinces don't pay taxes. They indeed live from the agriculture. By the taxes, the little taxes they can pay, they are very reduced. In Lima, the tax control is much bigger. And also the expectations of making money bigger too. You're paying taxes on everything. Lima is way more control, and that's why Lima has a bigger number of taxpayers and income. And this is not my saying. This is official information. For example, in the little screenshot I made to you, this is actually taken from the video that I said before. If you wish, I can share with you all. So the general recollection of Peru in terms of taxes, general, like including mining, including fishing, agriculture, indicates that Lima makes 86.32% in taxes, in the general taxes of the country. right? But many people will say, oh, of course, Vanessa, but the mining, mining is from the region of Arequipa, mining is the region of Cusco, in the Andes, in the jungle, and you live from those taxes. Well, if you take apart mining and industry from that general, money maker in the country, Lima will still have 64% of the general income because of the businesses that we have in Lima. So we get more because we pay more here in Lima. This is very important to understand. And this is not my saying. This is official information. So I will not like to say that Lima pays for the money, or for the things that other regions have. But in numbers, this is what it is, right? And you can see the demographic concentration in Lima. Although, of course, most Peruvians don't like to pay taxes, the taxes that are paid here. Okay? So this is just to take one point aside from the situation of Lima lives from us, and we don't need Lima. Okay. And what are the requests of the protesters? Okay. So there are four requests. We have a referendum, constitutional assembly, restitution of Castillo in some cases, or in other cases, the remotion of the president Dina Boluarte, which this is like now more a possibility. The other one is impossible, to be honest, about Castillo. He has been abandoned by most of his supporters in this moment, on calling of new president right away, the closest and the fastest it possible is, which is possible changing the constitution. Oh, so that's why the constitution has to be changed, because of course this is the country of the like Wonderland. Anything can happen, amigos, but that's the problem. Anything can happen, but it shouldn't. We have a constitution, and it cannot be changed all the time, on demand. And the closing of the Congress. Why closing the Congress? Well, remember, if we remove Dina Boluarte, but we still have our Congress, who will be president of Peru? I remember I said it before. Do you remember, amigos? I said that the person who will be ruling the country by the constitution and by the rules of Peru is the president of the Congress. And who is the president of the Congress? A former military champion or hero of the fight against terrorism and extreme left. So that's something we don't know. Actually, I cannot remember this moment his name, but I can look in a moment for him. Lynn, just give me a second. I have so many names in this moment in my head. So sorry. So, to protest is right. The right of protest, is constitutional. You can protest, you can go out with your banner anywhere but the main square of Lima. The main square of Lima is untouchable. You cannot come there, by law. Okay, but you can protest in front of the Congress, in front of the Kennedy Park, but it is not an obligation. Nobody can force you to do that. And that's what has been happening a lot in the country. So I think I can now start showing some videos to portray you what has been happening in some parts of the country. So this is Puerto Maldonado, in which the lady says, oh, sorry, it's not activated the volume. Oh, here it is. Just give me a second. Las personas, todas aquellas que estén abiertas y no apoyen al paro, saqueo, señores, porque tenemos que tener conciencia. Okay, so what is the little fragment that I play to you? Now, TikTok is the best source for videos like this one. It is impartial and it gives you all the positions. So this lady in Puerto Maldonado, that's the jungle zones, central jungle of Peru, says that if people are not supporting the protests, there will be stealing of the products of the people who work. Okay, so that is one of the most common things that is happening in this moment in Peru. No? It is this terrible fact that people are being, sorry, forced to protest. Okay, so here we are. So why we are being forced to protest? Nobody is being forced to not protest. Okay, and this has happened in many parts of the country. If you're not with us, you're against us. Okay, so the right of working has been taken out in Arequipa, in Juliaca, in Cusco, in Puerto Maldonado, but not in Lima. Why? Remember, Lima is a city of people from the province. We came here many years ago, and I say we because the blood of my grandmother is running in me. We came to Lima to work. If we wanted to be, like just inactive and not doing anything and feeling, like sorry for our situation, we would probably done nothing, right? But I'm talking about in the 70s when my mother came and grandmother came, but instead we said, no, we go to Lima and we're going to work and we're going to strive. And that's what they did, right? So the premise that most Limanians, are here to be working, and they will not accept that people will say you cannot work because if you don't work, you're against, my protest. You can work, but you cannot steal my opportunity of making a living. And that has been seen in the biggest market zones of Lima, not in the posh areas, not in the elegant areas, not in Miraflores. In Miraflores, even the business is closed, right? But in the sections where the poor people live, the low income people live, the migrants live, the first generation migrants live, they are working still. When the protesters came in, they were allowed, but they were started to remove the stands. The people just literally kicked them out from the areas, with sticks, like, don't mess with my job because these people are here to work. Because we are used to, like having this type of action of responding, the injustices, working hard and making money to progress. Okay. Because this is the way it has been always. It's not a surprise for us. We are in Lima, of course. So I will return the camera. So they have been sacking of products in other zones, taking off airports in other zones, not in Lima. Lima does not accept provocations of this time. Many people talk about terrorism, and I do agree with my friend Elizabeth about, young people that are not terrorists. They don't look like terrorists, and they are definitely not associated directly with terrorists. But there is one thing that people are not noticing here. There is, okay, terrorism, and they are terrorist actions, okay? And what these people is doing, maybe they are not terrorists, but they are having terrorist actions. Taking an airport is a terrorist action, and nobody will say that is not, okay? And if you're doing terrorist actions, for example, if you're doing a killing action, are you a killer? Okay? If you're doing a raping action, are you a raper or rapist? Okay? So, we have to use a little bit of our, like a mind to deduce the actions of people. I am not saying they initially fail identify with being terrorists, but if you see your group of people are destroying, like an airport, and you're still there, you are being taken part of that. So, and that's the problem. If you are seeing someone that is beating a police, maybe you are not doing that, but you still are standing there. The police has the authority and right to shoot. And if you are there, well, you should immediately run away because you should not be involved in a criminal or terrorist action. And that is why now we have 50 people who died because of this. But to me, the people who were there during those protests, those vandalisms, They knew they were taking part of something that was illegal. Taking an airport is illegal. You cannot stop people moving in a country. That is not possible. Nowhere that happens. But they did. Try to do that in the countries that they honor so much, like, Cuba or Venezuela. The police immediately will kill them. But not in Peru, because this is a free country. So what we have here is the militia backupping the police, but they still, of course, cannot just shoot everybody. To me, the only people innocent in these deaths have been the people who died consequence of the blocking of the roads, not being able to go to hospitals. A baby died because the blockers didn't allow the baby and the mother to go to a hospital. Can you imagine that? Not even in the war that happens. Not even in war. There are some, like treaties and pacts. People can move even in the war. So why this is not happening here in the country? Right? So there are 5 groups of people protesting. I don't know the percentages, of course. I don't know the percentages, but this is true and nobody can say no. I mean, maybe it's just 1% of this and 90% of the other, but this is true. And we have lots of people that are protesting, ignoring the agenda behind. Right? That are being manipulated, because this of taking airports and roads and destroying the historic center of Lima, it is terrible, right? And the police has the right to shoot when something is not correct, when they are affecting private property. So we have terrorists that are disguised also as leaders, terrorists from the 80s, from the 90s, which are these guys that are moving young people, university people that have all the right to protest, and they are utopic, and their utopic dreams and ideas, right? We have people that are vandals in disguise that are taking things from other people. After, it's like the vultures, after the protest pass, they go and they take things that are not theirs. They go into buildings, and that had happened in Arequipa, that had happened in Puno, that had happened everywhere, but not in Lima. We are not allowing that in Lima. And it's not the police, it's the people. We are not allowing that. We have illegal miners, and also there is narco-terrorist money that is also being used. And indeed, there are people that are using their own money and they are helping, but they don't know what they are doing. They don't know what they are doing. We have also, well, as I said before, people who are innocent, which are really having legitimate, and probably that's the biggest number. And you know why? You know why I think that? Because the ones that really are behind all of this are not showing their faces. They are using these people as the, carne de cañón, we said, which is the front line people who are receiving the shots, because not one single syndicalist or leader or thinker or politician from the left who is leading these marches is in the front. They are leading from their computers, from their TikToks, from their videos, from interviews, and they are not there in front. Not one single of these leaders. Okay, so just to give you an idea of this, of course, some videos about this still in the protest. I think we can maybe have one over here just to give you an idea. Maybe not more because we are short in time. I think we can go maybe to. Oh, we have, of course, some leaders that are connected, with the with the left. For example, this gentleman over here who works for the Ministry of Transport. I thought I remember people that are working. Look at this. This is a person who is doing the delivery of gas. We still use that type of gas in Peru for the cuisines, for the houses. And because he was working and delivering this, the people who were in the protest were, like taking out the air of the tires of the motorcycle of this person. Anyways, so we have another one. I think I picked the incorrect one. So, and in a moment, I will share with you my last videos. I think this one was the one I want to share. And I see also there are some comments. Oh no, this one is not. So anyways, there are a lot of videos about sackings and blockings, and I want to keep it just my 30 minutes, but you can also check more of those demonstrations in Lima. Just to go to the last part of the exposition. Yesterday, it has been a really, really bad day for Lima. There have been lots of different demonstrations, including demonstrations in the historic center of Lima, including in Miraflores. That's, for example, Miraflores. We have people, lots of mobilizations. It has not been, like huge, because we have, for example, the gay pride, let's say protest, not protest, parade, sorry. Gracias, Liz. Thanks for your support. It has been way bigger, like huge. The last one we had. So no, it hasn't been really that multitudinary. In Miraflores, there had not been vandalism. There has not been breaking of windows. There has not been any type of, like fights or confiscation of products. No, it has been mild, very mild, but there have been lots of like insults from both sides, and the police has been always there, right? The problem is in downtown Lima. I think I have one of my videos in downtown Lima, which I hope we can see here. Well, that's Miraflores also, but that was the 18th, just to show you the beginning of the protest was on the 18th, right, in Miraflores. And one more over here. Not sure if this is downtown Lima. So downtown Lima. And we have also protests against the government, and we have people demonstrating for peace, okay? Which I remember deeply the words of my friend Elizabeth, no? So it's easy to talk about peace when you have food in the plate. And it's true. Indeed, it's true. No, and it's easy to talk about politics when you're not in the country. For example, there are many Peruvians who are not in Peru, and they are living comfortable lives in Europe. Of course, very sad and constricted in their hearts. But they are living from capitalism. And they want Peru to be a left country. No, so that makes no sense to me, to be honest. Yesterday, the protests were huge, and I mean, in downtown Lima. This one, I think, is from downtown Lima. And this is what has happened also. Sorry, this is not from yesterday. I've been trying to do the fastest I could, cut some videos, preparing, because it was yesterday, everything. The take of Lima. Okay, so this one here. This one is the one I want to share with you. There was a really bad fire that happened in the historic center yesterday at night. And consequence of this is a fire in a house from the year 1914 in the historic center, just half a block away from the Plaza San Martin. And that happened yesterday. Also, we were talking with my friend Elizabeth earlier before the events, and she said like she saw one of the videos in which the owner of the property says that it was the police, the one that started the fire, which is tragic. I mean, of course, if the police is immediately, it has to be an action against the person who sent some type of pyrotechnic, let's say, weapon to a construction that is made from a combination of mud bricks, wood, thatch and bamboo. That is not just a old building. It is inside the UNESCO's World Heritage Area of the historic area of Lima. So this is not just mine, my thing, my place. This is all of us. This is UNESCO, right? And the building has ended up completely destroyed. There are also lots of sections in downtown Lima with the pieces of the floor taken out, like tear out, completely destroyed. So unfortunately, no, this is not going to be easy for us to recover from this situation. So I think we are almost coming to the end of this event, and I'm ready to answer some questions if you have some. Also, another important thing is that yesterday at nighttime, the president of Peru, Dina Boluarte, offered with very short anticipation, but we thought it would be earlier, because all these fights and these crises and these like the escalating protests that were supposed to be peaceful protests are right and in the right if they are peaceful and don't destroy public or private property. But immediately, it was like 6 p.m., it started to be confrontations, and the president of Peru didn't talk until 9 p.m., right? And she advised she will talk about 8:30 p.m. So everybody was in the expectation what she will say. Yes, Marilu, is actually I've taken to that zone virtually to my friends that are used to my channel and my tours in my channel, to that zone often. So, well, this is what she said in her brilliant speech. Brilliant, not really. The government is firm and its cabinet more united than ever. Our cabinet is the ministers, the table of ministers of Peru. I call for dialogue, for calm in people, exclaimed the president, emphasizing emphasizing that actions will be taken with the full weight of the law. She's going to fight the protesters, she said, right? She also sent congratulations to the police, and with just few more words from other parts of the other ministers, the conversation was over. It didn't take not even 15 minutes. Okay, so something like this, this is a joke. This is definitely a joke. Like, for being the first female president of Peru, we thought she will be more firm. We thought she will be more smart than all the previous presidents of Peru. And she's just scared. She is afraid. She doesn't want to do anything. She's so in the middle. She hasn't taken any position. She's so in the middle because she's afraid from both sides, right? That she is not doing anything against the protests. Like, if she was, inclined to be more firm against the protests, she will call to maybe like a strict, what is this? Like, I cannot remember, when you cannot go out your house from this time to this time. Sorry, I forgot the name of that situation. So she will be, yes, curfew, Marilyn. Yes, Adam. Curfew, I think, is Marilyn, right? See, so she will say curfew from this time to this time and table for dialogue with the leaders, maybe, if she wanted to be more strict with the protests, but with the protesters, no? Or on the other hand, she could say, I will present my resignation, right? Because people say we don't want Dina Boluarte here. So I will present my resignation and will allow the president of the Congress to rule. But no, she did nothing. She said, we're going to be firm. We're going to continue here. We are more united than ever, right? Thank you for your attention. So today, things will continue like the same. And the police is being there put because the police has to do their job. They are not doing what they want. They have to follow orders, And the people that are there, they are here for something, right? They will not say, okay, well, this didn't work. We go home. No. And of course, there is money behind. And who is supporting all of this? Well, most of them, to be honest, they are not paying anything from their pocket. They are being like asyled in universities. There are two universities that are helping to give space for them to sleep. University San Marcos and University de Ingeniería, the Engineers University. So they are given home to them, shelter over the nights until something happens. So I had to cancel my in-person tour of tomorrow, Saturday, because there are no ways to give opportunity to to my clients to see any of Lima, because all Lima is now with police presence and is dangerous, because if there are more protests, this will be, destroyed. Just my last words before I go to answer my questions, and I see lots of comments. Orders to kill protesters. Well, this I cannot resist to this question, Diane. Well, let me tell you something. Police cannot kill for killing. Actually, that's why we have militaries backupping them, because police has more limits to use a gun than the militaries. But when the police has their own security put in danger, they can use a gun. And there are cameras everywhere in Lima in this moment that are taking images of the situation. So if a police officer is doing something that is taken in the camera, they will have a problem too. But there are many videos made even by police or people that are next to the police in which they are being thrown rocks, and they are just with the sticks, So if you are attacking the police, that is against the law. You cannot attack the police. Like, in what world someone can attack the police? So if you are taking part of something that is an attack to the police, and the police defends legitimately themselves, and you get a bullet, why were you there supporting an action that is like that, right? Anyways, this is a really sad time for people. There are no winners here. I am not winning. Elizabeth in Arequipa is not winning. Mike in Cusco is not winning. We are, to be honest, some of the biggest losers in Peru, because at least there's people that can sell, their menu, like a food, like for the neighbors, and make some money. We live from tourism, and tourists will not like to come to a country that is in this type of unrest. We are the last wheel in this bus, we say, like the one in the back that nobody cares. Not the protesters care on tourism. Not the protesters care on tourism. When you ask them about, what about the ladies and gentlemen that are tourists that are in the airport, like they are not going back home, they say, we don't care. They have money. Like, is it always about the money, right? So indeed, it is always about the money, right? So anyways, I will pass now to answer some of the questions. I hope that this was not way too hard, but it was, for me, also an opportunity of catharsis, sharing with you what is the feeling of that I have recopilated from many people. I still love my country, the people of my country. It is important to understand them all. And with Elizabeth, we organize these two events, one and one. Elizabeth in Arequipa, me in Lima, to show you different positions. But at the same time, to tell you that Peru is a strong nation. We are people that have fought always against the odds. And here we are, with our beautiful Machu Picchu, our beautiful cuisine, our beautiful culture, our beautiful history. We are like the phoenix bird that is going to rebirth from its ashes constantly. We just have to find a solution to this big problem in which we are. And thanks a lot for coming. Adam, Corinne, Marilyn, muchas gracias, amigos. Let me answer the questions. Probably thanks to the 21 person that were today here with me, and also like until the end. Oh, Marilu, I'm seeing also reading your comment. Oh my gosh, that's so sad indeed. like everywhere around the world. Latin America is also suffering, is bleeding. It's bleeding everywhere. And also, before I go to the answers, if you wish to support this channel and Heygo, remember, like, Heygo has given us all the opportunity of travel virtually around the world for free, and we wanted to keep it for free. So if you have the chance of supporting this event, your local guide in Lima, and Heygo as well, with a tip, that would be super, because we are not paid by Heygo. We are paid with your generosity, by your generosity. And all the tips or donations are done to our channel, including tips, and also sponsor a channel, which is like adopting a channel. There is a percentage that goes to Heygo to keep the platform running for free permanently. So we can also go to answer questions. Oh, yes, Adam. Oh, yes, my dear. Oh, yes. So are the police shooting to kill or just to stop the attackers? The numbers of bullets used are really minimal in comparison to the attacks to police done everywhere. Remember that to take an airport, you need to have weapons, and the airports have been taken constantly. In Arequipa, they have been taken too, just yesterday. And that's because, yes, indeed, lots of police have been moved to Lima. Remember, Lima is the center of the politics of Peru. And most of the people that are protesting outside, they blame on Lima everything. So that's why the police had to, even corps of police had to be moved to Lima to defend Lima, because they knew the marches were all coming to the city. Right. So, but unfortunately, in this decision, all the zones of Peru were left weaker. And that's what happened in Arequipa. That's how the Arequipa airport was closed. They're closing for today as well, tomorrow, and we don't know how many of days. So, isn't that a terrorist action? Okay, I'm not saying they are terrorists, but stopping people from moving from the road in the roads, isn't that a terrorist action? So just a little, let's say, mental exercise. And yes, Mary Lou, but when in the distance also, because there are people that have been shot, like many people have been hurt, but in the distance and also with the movement, it's probably that many people who were shot to kill, they were killed in areas where originally were not meant to. Okay. And also, every time a police uses a gun, is worse for them, because people come more like to hit them, right? So it's terrible. It's terrible. Are there anywhere? Oh, gracias, Seren. Thank you. It's I'm trying to be the most let's say real in this case. I am not from the left or the right, to be honest. I learned not to be from not one or the other side, because when you're a tour guide, you learn that politics is history that still happens. It's the same. It's a repetition, one after the other, one after the other. You know politics is history in action. Nothing is new. It has happened always. So nothing really surprises me in this moment as a tour guide. Most my colleagues that are tour guides, they know that, right? Anyways, but I'm planning to visit Lima for 2 days in March. Do you think the airport, Jorge? We hope that for the end of January, this will be gone. But I will be always keeping you informed through this platform of all the details. I'm planning with Elizabeth to do these events every 15 days to show you how's the reality of Peru. So I'll keep you informed. If you can, please give me a follow. There's a follow button if you don't follow me yet, somewhere here. Also, if you would like to, Lima's airport is working, by the way. Jorge, Lima's airport, the international airport of Peru. Well, we have officially international airport in Cusco and in Puno, because Bolivian flights come to those places, so far I remember. But of course, not international flights, and that is simple. It is true what Elizabeth said. There is a monopoly that wants the airport in Lima to remain the only airport. But also there are other reasons for having an airport big enough to resist like huge planes to come, you need certain characteristics. Unfortunately, in the Andes, it is very complicated to find flat enough places where Boeings can land. So that's one of the problems with Cusco. Cusco has an airport. It's not really an airport for international big planes. And there was another airport chosen for which the project is really not like concluding. And also I know that the land has been expropriated also to make it possible, but there are people who don't want the airport to be there because that's a zone that is agricultural and also has pastures for animals, so it is a big mess there. But I definitely want the international airport of Cusco to be a real international airport. I want this to be legitimate. I don't want me to live like a parasite from other sons. Remember, I am the child of hardworking parents and grandparents, and that's why I'm doing this. I'm showing Lima to the world, as Lima, as the gem it is to me. I don't want to live from all the site in Peru, like dependent on that other site. Lima itself is a beautiful gem. And that's what we tour guides want also, that people come to Lima to try its food and to see its beauty. So thanks a lot, amigos. Lynn, Jorge, thanks for your support. Thank you for coming, Lynn. Yes, yes, it's complicated. Sam, muchas gracias. Larry, muchas gracias. And well, we're going to see how the militaries are also involved in the situation. Sorry that the tour was meant to be half an hour and now it's almost an hour. But I wanted to give you more insights. And I hope that you would like to see more of these events coming soon. I'm planning to do one more with Elizabeth at the end of this month with enough information to share with you all and with the, I hope, the conclusion of this event. Wishing you all the best, amigos, amigas. Wishing you uh, that your political situation in your country is way better than our political situation in Peru. And but I know that everywhere there have been things happening. So still, well, you're invited to my events later. I have two events at 3 my time and 4 my time, which are completely different. And I hope that you enjoy coming to see something different, and let's relax and enjoy together. Storytelling also that I have of a Peruvian a book, and well, something more that I will share with you all. See you soon. Thank you. Bye bye. Best to you. Chao, chao, amigos. Thank you. Thank you, Dayan. Thank you, amiga. Muchas gracias. Gracias, Adam. Kisses to the family. Bye bye.